Damn, son, where did you find this?
Okay, what's up, sports fans? We are Dive Bar Sportscast, and I'm Tyler, and this is Connor. And wow, what a week! What a week it's been. Deshaun Watson suspended for 6 games by disciplinary officer Sue Robinson. We knew that, but 2 things. One, NFL's filed an appeal. Goodell is rumored. I mean, not even rumored. He's come out and basically said he wants a year. And the quote, evidence says or shows that it's going to be a year, according to him. So they have filed an appeal, and they've appointed a special. I don't want to say prosecutor, but he was a former prosecutor from the state of New Jersey. And but the Browns, in defiance of the league and God and everyone, and will start him in their first preseason game this weekend, as of the time of this filming. And I gotta say, big mistake.
Yeah, it's going to be ugly.
Oh, I just don't see a way this works out for the Browns, or for the league, for anyone involved in this situation. Look, I'm sure everyone knows football and that knows the situation has at least looked at this and talked about it in one way or another. So we're not going to sit here and talk to you about it until something, comes of it, one way or another. But the point is this. Look, we know for all intents and purposes that this is not a court situation right now. The law notwithstanding, this is the league. This is the NFL, where they have domain. They run the kingdom here, and I mean, at least when they put in the disciplinary officer, Judge Robinson, I was under the impression that they were trying to determine if he had broken protocol, which that was part of it, but I also didn't know that they were going to let the judge, bring down the sentence as well. That's different.
Yeah. So
obviously, the league didn't get what it wanted. Obviously, the Players Association did get what it wanted. But here's what's going to happen. The league's going to come out and give this guy a year, and there may it depends on how far the Players Association is willing to go to defend it. Goodell mentioned evidence as pointing to a year suspension. I wouldn't go so far as to call it evidence, because by the way, this is not me saying he's innocent. He has very much not been proven innocent, just like he's very much been not proven guilty. I'm saying in the context of the NFL, very very tricky. But they get to say, they get the final say. That's what everyone in the league agreed to. Am I wrong?
Yes. No, you're not. Yeah. Not at all.
Am I wrong? Yes. No, it's complicated.
Yeah,
I do
it's
not this.
One of the messier things I think we've seen in the NFL in the last couple of years. I mean, obviously.
Well, hey, it's not like it's happened. It's not like this is the first time it's happened.
No, but I think this is one of the more high profile and I feel like almost mishandled things we've seen.
Yeah,
and the long list of mishandled things we've seen in the last 20 years in football.
Yeah.
But
the NFL has fumbled a lot of things.
Yes.
Pun notwithstanding. But they really, really have... man, they shouldn't have... They just should have made sure that if they had let this judge just determine if something had gone wrong and then pass the sentence later, there wouldn't have been this much, I feel, backlash against it, because then again, it's Goodell's choice. And look, whatever you feel about Goodell, he's a businessman, and he is going to make sure that the league is in a position to come out and win. That's why he's in the position that he is. So giving Watson a year, especially when you look at other leagues, like the MLB giving Trevor Bauer 2 years off of an accusation from one person. I mean,
Correct.
this is 25. This is 25 people potentially, according to a New York Times article, 66. As
Wow.
high as 66.
Wow.
Now, 25 of those have come forward. They have all, at least to my knowledge, I know that most of the individual civil suits have been settled. It's also important to note that settling does not imply guilt because these are civil suits. But it doesn't look good. It's a lot like it's a lot like pleading the fifth.
Mm-hmm.
It's designed to keep you from incriminating yourself, but it doesn't look good. So, then again, it's all about the court of public opinion, as they say. So, we'll see how that goes for him. Speaking of Trevor Bauer, the woman who accused him of sexual assault has filed a countersuit. If you remember, Trevor Bauer filed a defamation suit against her after the court in L.A. Decided not to press charges against him. He filed a defamation suit, and now she is filing a countersuit of defamation. Now, this again, I don't think anyone has a whole lot of particular love for Trevor Bauer, but again, he wasn't proven guilty, but he also wasn't proven innocent. But then again, that in this country, it's innocent until proven guilty.
Mm-hmm.
So, criminally, he's things are on a hiatus. But civilly, I'm not even going to attempt to fix what I just said. This is going to go to civil court. So this is very much going to decide because, I mean, look, there are questions that kind of need to be answered, or at least they were raised. The questions were raised. Mm-hmm. She walked out of there with 2 black eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And on one hand, you got a guy saying, look, I wanted rough sex. And that's what we had, and she agreed to that, and the text messages back that up. But you also have a woman being photographed with 2 black eyes. Looked like she got to beat the shit out of her. That's not rough sex. So, whatever you want to call it, they're both going at each other in court, and we will see how that goes. But his 2-year suspension is still in effect, and that doesn't seem to be going away anytime soon. Moving on, back into the world of football, Bears linebacker Roquan Smith asked for a trade, saying that the Bears do not value him. After contract negotiations broke down, this particular linebacker is 3rd overall in tackles the last 4 seasons. Do the Bears, are they really going to let him walk away?
They better not. I mean, he had 163 tackles last season, total tackles. I mean,
that's going to hurt.
And it was a 2nd-team All-Pro, so... that's not a guy you want to let walk away, and if you do, you better get something for it. But, I mean, this is a guy, this is a linebacker who can, who's going to be solid and get those tackles for you, and you need that kind of stuff in the middle of the field, So if a team that needs this can get a guy like this, man.
Well, I mean, they've already thrown out some potential. Who are the teams that are really looking at him, right? I mean, everyone should want him.
Right.
But I know that in particular they were looking at some trade scenarios. And, I mean, wherever he goes, this is going to be insane.
Yeah.
He is going to make an instant impact on just – the linebacker is huge because this is a position that has evolved over the years.
Yeah.
This isn't just they're on the defensive line or they're on the edge or whatever.
Yeah, just some big guy who's going to stuff the run in the middle, right? Yeah, these are guys who are sideline to sideline, ball hawking, all kinds of stuff, and then just whatever, just stopping plays in the middle of the field.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I won't we won't speculate too much on who is going after him yet because there really hasn't been a whole lot of rumors, other than the fact that everyone should want him. So it's going to be interesting to see who really if a championship caliber team acquires him, that's insane.
Yeah, that's
a
huge pickup.
And the Bears better get a lot for him, and they better plan to get a lot for him because right now they control his situation. They could, but they do. They're in a rock and a hard place, right, between those 2 places because you have a situation where he walks away for nothing if his contract's up, or you can get whatever you can for him. You can get a first rounder for him. You can get a couple of key position players. I say let him go. And
yeah,
but they also have to think about why is he saying it. The Bears aren't exactly in the best position team wise.
no,
And I think that maybe some questions need to be answered, and maybe one of the approaches they take is to sit back down with him and say, look, yeah, contract negotiations broke down, but maybe we were wrong. Who knows? Then again, we're not in the back office, so it's tough to say.
Right.
But again, we'll see how that plays out. Over to basketball, the NBA is set to retire the late Bill Russell. May he rest in peace. His number 6 league-wide to honor his legacy, and not only what he's done for the league, but what he's done for civil rights and among other things in this country and in the world.
Mm-hmm.
He is an influential player, both on and off the court, and he's just one. It surprised me that the NBA has never retired a number before.
Yeah.
But this being the first number feels right.
Yeah, I don't really have a problem with it. I think it's, it's Bill Russell. I mean, a consummate winner, a consummate professional, a consummate advocate of the game, just
Yep.
the game would never have been the same had he not suited up,
Exactly. I mean, Bill Russell, the man with not enough fingers for his rings.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a true champion in just about every sense of the word, and to lose a legend like that is tough. But it's also not like he didn't live a long and fruitful life. He certainly did. We are sorry to see him go, but man, what a legend.
Mm-hmm.
He is and was. Still in. What do you got written here, Connor? You read that one. Let's
So
see.
next we got.
I'm seeing this for the first time right here.
Yeah. So a couple days ago, Brooklyn Nets Governor Joe Tsai met with Kevin Durant, basically, as Kevin Durant stated that he needed
that's
to
right.
choose.
He wanted to kick him.
Yeah. He told Joe Tsai that it's basically Kevin Durant or Steve Nash and Sean Marks, I believe, their GMs.
By the way, what player has ever won that battle?
Yeah, not many. I'm sure that we'd have to look through, but
maybe a Kobe or a Michael,
yep,
or maybe even LeBron. But and I know we're talking about Kevin Durant here, but Kevin Durant doesn't exactly have a lot of ground to stand on. Because what are the options here, right? So basically what he's saying is it's me or the
front office.
Yeah, me or the front office.
Mm-hmm.
What? So they have two choices. And they may seem obvious, but there's background to this, to each one.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say they acquiesce. What happens then with? So they acquiesce to Kevin Durant's demands, and they get rid of Steve Nash, and so they get rid. Who's the GM?
Sean Marks.
Sean Marks. Let's say it gets rid of him. What happens then?
Yeah, basically it would be what they pull a Lakers and LeBron and kind of give him the pieces he wants in the front office, and then Kevin Durant's making the calls, right? Something like that.
Sure.
That's more or less. But then you're also starting a new team, new front office, new coaching, and then it's new philosophy, and it just is messy, right? In an already messy situation.
It's messy. It sets you back, and it sets a precedent. It says Kevin Durant, who, by the way, is only signed through a certain number of years. He's not signed on in a lifetime deal.
Right.
He's basically giving away. He's basically saying no. You're gonna huddle around me. In my 4 years remaining on my deal, and you're gonna build this team from top to bottom to top, however I want it.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it sets a precedent. It shows players that okay, Kevin's calling the shots here.
Yes.
So that takes away power from not only away from the owner completely, puts it right into Durant's hands, who has historically not been great with it. Because
not a lot of loyalty, a tendency to jump ship when things aren't looking the way he's expecting things to. So,
looking at you, Oklahoma City.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, but not every look how long it took Oklahoma City to and Kevin Durant was just a piece of this, but
yes,
he was a big piece. Look how long it took them to rebuild in a sense that like now they're looking like, oh shoot, the future's bright, but it took them a while to get to that point, and they were a finals trip, like they were so close, so close, and then but we won't get back all into that, but. Does he really think this is going to work?
No, and unfortunately, during that meeting, Joe Tsai said that he's backing Steve Nash and Sean Marks. So,
well, there you go.
In a surprising thing, not surprising to see in this era of basketball that a guy would say, "No, I'm going to stick with my head coach and my GM and not my star player." Right?
It's surprising because it's smart, and professional sports owners don't typically get there because of their brains.
No.
So that's just a fact of life, folks. That's not a judgment call. That's saying that they have money, and that doesn't just because you have money doesn't always mean you're the smartest guy in the room.
Yeah.
And he definitely was the smartest guy in that particular meeting because telling Kevin Durant no, you stand your ground in this situation. And by the way, I'm not sitting here. This is not a statement for all NBA owners. I'm just saying in this particular instance, that's what's best for the team. Mm-hmm. You need to tell this player no. This is not a Kobe Bryant or a Michael Jordan. And by the way, has nothing to do with with their ability compared to Kevin Durant. It has everything to do with Kobe Bryant was a Laker for his entire career. Michael Jordan was a Chicago Bull for the vast majority of his career. Mm-hmm. I mean, when they make demands, or they made demands, that's entirely different. That's someone who has the heart and soul of the team in their core, and is someone who wants, right, wrong, or indifferent, to make things happen. Kevin Durant's been in Brooklyn for a handful of years, and they haven't been great years. Some of it his fault, some of it not. And to make demands like this, it just doesn't seem like it's the right thing to do.
No, I don't like
it.
And so again, I'm very happy that the Nets governor decided, we're gonna stick with what we think is working. We don't have a lot of faith in that. Even if we acquiesce to these demands, we're gonna get what we want out of you, what we want out of the team, and the direction we want to go. So
yeah, and let's not forget he's under contract.
Yes. So
you can say whatever you want, Kevin. It's not going to happen. You can demand a trade all you want, sit out for 4 years. All the cards are in Joe Tsai's hand right now.
That is true.
He doesn't have to move. If Kevin doesn't want to play for 4 years until he's 37 or 38, then fine. And I have all the respect in the world for Kevin Durant's game. I just think that I really wish I get to see more of it on the court and less of it off the court.
Agreed.
Let's go to the next one. That next one's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, as a Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim fan, to be able to see this with the way the season's gone, Shohei Ohtani becomes the second player in MLB history to hit 10 home runs and record 10 wins in the same season, joining Babe Ruth. So
Babe Ruth, there it is.
An impressive stat.
I am going to correct you though, and it's not a correction in a real sense, and I say this as a Dodger fan. No, that should read Anaheim Angels player Shohei Ohtani. That is, or I'll even let you have California Angels. But don't give me Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Yep.
Damn you, Art Moreno. Yeah. If you're listening, I hate you, and I'm a Dodger fan. Like, why do you take everything good and ruin it?
Yeah.
But back to Shohei, that is incredible. To be, first of all, anytime you're in a conversation with Babe Ruth, at least on paper, wow, fantastic.
And to compare it to the guys he's playing against now compared to who Babe Ruth played against, let's be real. I mean,
it's a much more impressive feat. And what was he called? Okay, hold on. I could be wrong here, but I don't want to be misquoting. But I'm pretty sure they called him the Japanese Babe Ruth.
They did. That is correct.
So there you go. Before he even came to the league, Showtime was already being compared, and now he has an official comparison because two-way players, when you think two-way player in baseball, everyone should think hitting and fielding.
Mm-hmm.
That's what everyone thinks. Two-way is, okay, it's hitting and fielding. Rarely does that mean you're a pitcher and a hitter these days. And this guy, he's not just pitching well. He's hitting well. He's doing both. And significant numbers. I mean, anytime you're batting above 250 in this league is pretty significant already. But he's also got the power. What does he get? 256 this year with 25 home runs and now 10 wins as a pitcher, and he's 6th in strikeouts. That's insane.
Yeah, he's had some gems this year.
And honestly, like to be a 10-win pitcher on a team that's kind of in struggle right now, like the Angels, that's just incredible.
Yeah, don't get me started about this Angels season. we have had.
Well, I said it before, right?
Odd.
Damn you, Art Moreno.
Yeah, man.
Help. Help. Yeah,
if anybody knows
SOS.
anybody with a lot of money that wants to buy the Angels, feel free to send in a bid.
Yeah, I think the Pirates have been singing that song for years. Pirates, Orioles, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, the list is certainly pretty long, but fantastic for Ohtani, and he continues to defy expectations in just about every facet of the game. Because I mean, you get casual, from casual fans all the way to professional sports analysts that'll say he's eventually going to have to pick one, hitting or pitching, and. At this point, I mean, I know it's only been a handful of years, but at this point, he's saying no. And he's only getting better. I mean, last year he had a pretty spectacular year in hitting, yes, but also in pitching, and he's a better pitcher this year.
Yeah.
I know the wins.
Those gems, the couple of gems that shut out in Boston he threw, man, he's had some spectacular pitching games where you just got to sit there in awe and go, wow.
The wins-losses column doesn't tell the whole story, folks. It never does. But in this case, I mean, the man's throwing. He's a sub-3 ERA. I think he's a sub-2.27 ERA, and he's 6th overall in the league in strikeouts. And this is a guy that he's not. I don't think he's being played at the consistency of it. No, I guess he would be because he's 10-7. So that's a pretty consistent pitcher. But he's pitching. And hitting and doing it. He's doing it all. This man is, well, for lack of better terms, the modern day Babe Ruth at the moment, and certainly the best, if not the only, two-way player, two-way star in the league, and we certainly want to see him continue to rise. But the last two items on our list, before we dive into this, they both really pertain to today's main topic, which is about the PGA versus LIV. That is how you pronounce it. We found out recently it is not LIV. It is LIV, like LIV Golf. And yeah, okay. Anyway, 11 golfers from the LIV Tour, including Phil Mickelson, have filed an antitrust lawsuit against the PGA Tour. More on that later, but also, as an aside, 3 players, Taylor Gooch, Hudson Swafford, and Matt Jones, filed for a temporary restraining order to allow them to compete in the PGA Tour's FedEx playoffs. There's a lot of money to be won there. The judge ruled in PGA's favor, and this is in the Northern California District Court, which is important because that's where the antitrust lawsuits are being held as well. The judge stated that there was no evidence to show players had been harmed, and this harm would be financially, and certainly not irreparably. We will get right. We will more on that in along with the antitrust lawsuit. But first, we wanted to really go into this to talk about what what the hell is live? And if you're a casual golfer or you're just hearing about it, you're not really into watching golf, maybe, and you want to know what's going on. Essentially, Live is a golf league. It's a separate league. There's the PGA Tour, there's the Euro Tour, there's the Australasia Tour. No, that is not a slip of the tongue. There are a lot of different golf tours out there. The PGA Tour is one of the main ones because, their presence in North America is heavily felt and also internationally. Live is a separate league that will be playing internationally, mostly events in North America as well as Europe, I believe. But what they are is who they are. They are backed by the Saudi Public Investment Fund, which is a fancy way of saying the Saudi royal family. The royal family in Saudi Arabia has created a golf league. And if that sounds ridiculous, well, ever since 2020, I'm pretty sure we've been in a brand new timeline. So we have and that's why you'll hear a lot of people call it the Saudi Golf League.
Mm-hmm.
And it is what it is. That's where its origins are from. It's completely funded by Saudi Arabia's royal family, which means they've pretty much got unlimited funding.
Correct.
There's Saudi Arabia as a country is what's their export? Oil. They have it. They've got a lot of it, and they make a hell of a lot of money selling it. So they and with times the way they are, pretty much every year since 2000, they keep getting richer. So they've got a black hole of just unlimited money to throw at this league and compete with the PGA. And essentially they're pulling golfers, right? They're a lot of golfers have signed up with them because they offer something different from the PGA. The PGA treats its players as independent contractors who sign on kind of like a country club. But they are still being given money, prize money that is, and things like that. And there's now a bonus structure, but we'll get more into that. But they're still independent contractors. They're not direct employees. The Live Golf Tour is taking that model and turning it on its head. They are contracting these players for like they're part of a team, saying, look, we're going to give you X amount of years for X amount of dollars, and all you got to do is show up and play. Pretty sweet deal. I mean, would you take that deal? I'd take that deal.
I'd take that deal. Are you kidding me? Guaranteed money, go out and play golf every weekend,
Yeah, and I'd take it on paper. But, I mean, of course, just for me, I say that because I'm a terrible golfer. So
same here.
All I'm saying is, Saudi Arabia, if you want to pay me $20 million to show up in colorful Hawaiian shirts and try my best, I will give you my all. I really will. But I don't anticipate that coming for me anytime soon. But it did come for Dustin Johnson, Phil Mickelson, Bryson DeChambeau, Brooks Koepka, and now it's rumored to be Cam Smith, who just won the Open. And I mean, these contracts are wild. Dustin got $75 million. Or no, I'm sorry. He made $75 million the year before.
Yeah.
$125 million was his contract.
Mm-hmm.
Same with DeChambeau and Koepka. And Mickelson's deal is like $200 million.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys they're set. I mean, not that they weren't set before, but I mean, hell. I mean, if you're Mickelson, you take that deal and you're not making cuts anymore. You might as well take $200 million.
Yeah.
And then what do they offer Tiger?
$800 million, correct?
$7. If you offer me $800 million, I'm not even sure what to do with that information. I couldn't even tell you what kind of person I would be for $800 million, but it wouldn't be a good one. But I mean, see, and that's part of it. Now there's a lot of things going on with that, right? So you can take the money, but there is a moral thing to this, because why does the Live Golf League exist? Why did the Saudi Arabian royal family create this golf league in the first place? Do they just love golf and really want to? I mean, they're building, just a foundation here that is, they're throwing money at it. It's built to last. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's some sources saying that this is all built to soften their image on their human rights abuses, which are numerous. So I mean, from their own people to journalists to everything, they want the world to view them better. They want the international community to view them in a more positive light, and they felt that golf was the way to do that. I guess they've got somewhat of a point. Golf is on the rise. I mean, like I said, I'm a golfer. Connor, you're a golfer. We play golf together, and I can't. Every time I'm in the East Coast. When I come home for the holidays and play golf with you, how many times have we walked up to the first tee box? It's just 6 carts deep full of Chads.
Yeah. We've had a couple times where we've hit the back nine and just been like, I don't know if I want to spend another 4 hours here.
Oh, it's brutal. I mean, okay, I love that golf is getting more popular. I want that for the sport. But man, I almost don't. Like, I'm so close. Just with all the guys that come out and just are like, and look, I'm no great fantastic golfer, but look, I'm shooting between 90 and 100, right? And that's still, to people listening, they're thinking, oh, that's shit. But I'm not shooting 115 and then going to pick my ball out of the trees and throwing it into the fairway.
Right. Which we saw that.
We've literally seen that. I've seen sixums. I've seen people, again, throwing their ball in the middle of the fairway as if they've ever hit it in the fairway. And look, but if that's the price for golf becoming more popular as a sport, maybe I'll take it. I don't know. I've also only seen that in California. So, point is that golf's becoming more popular by the day, by the year, and Live is positioned well to take advantage of that. And Saudi Arabia, the royal family, they know that. But the questions remain. I mean, is this a problem for golf? And what's it going to do, right?
Right.
Morally, I think it's pretty. I don't want to use this phrase. I don't want to say cut and dry, because there's going to be different feelings and opinions on it. But should the rumors be true and they're doing this to, soften their image, my response is fuck you.
Wow.
That's my response.
Right.
That's my response. If you're going to say that you're going to use a sport to soften your image on human rights abuses, I've got nothing for you. You're not. That's just not what should be happening. If the rumors were they really love golf and wanted to create a competitive golf league, what are we going to say? Go away? No. Because that's what's so conflicting is I actually like some of the things they're doing. They're changing up. If for anyone that doesn't know, that golf, has pretty much, in terms of the PGA, been the same for 10 decades and decades and decades without changing, and Live is turning these things on its head. For example, let's take a look here. The events, just how they run things, they're not going to have any cuts of any kind because they're having a limited number of players. They are going to have, so it's 12 teams, 48 players, 54 holes. Also, Live is the Roman numeral for 54. A little tongue-in-cheek there, I guess. They have 8 events, no cuts whatsoever, and shotgun starts. So it's faster and more exciting, which has always been a little bit of a crux from a televised standpoint for golf.
Yeah.
And I think having a smaller field of play and having no cuts really gets these players into the mindset of I'm out here to compete. I'm not going to get cut on the third day of action. I'm going out to win this thing. So there are advantages, and it's very Ryder Cup style. They're going to have different styles of play. It's not just going to be it's individual play for 18 every single time. this is going to be interesting. And that's what's so conflicting is like,
Right.
I wish I could sit there. If it was morally okay, or there was not morally questionable at the very least, I'd be so pumped for this.
Yeah,
Because
me
I
too.
really think they have something. But let's take it, piece by piece here. From a golf perspective, how do we feel about this?
Golf perspective, great. Yeah, like you've covered. I mean, having different styles of play, having, just something new and exciting, which golf has been needing since, over the last almost 100 years, right?
Yeah, 100
You know?
years we'll do it.
And
Yeah.
it's attracting, and it seems like it's attracting more people. And, golf is at a good point where it has more marketable, more exciting, younger talent, right?
Yep.
So
Exactly.
I think it's good to
Yeah.
capitalize on it and make it a more interesting game where more things are going on, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, this is the time to do it, and it's getting harder to make these cuts. I mean, you're seeing players that have historically been dominant, or maybe not dominant, but they are. I mean, John Rahm was number 1 last year, and it didn't seem like he'd ever come down, and now he's almost out of the top 10.
Wow.
Simply because, I mean, let's see what the official world golf rankings here, but it's not like his game has just massively slipped. It's just simply, he's number 6. I said it's not out of the top 10, but he is absolutely, I mean, he was number 1 coming out of 2021. So other players are just simply, the field is so amazing. These
Yes.
guys seemingly come out of Scheffler. Oh my God. He ended 2021 as the 12th best golfer. Cam Smith, the 21st best golfer. And now they're 1 and 2 respectively. It is incredible to see how much competition golf has. And so to have another league in there and have a different formats going on, amazing. And I mean, from a golfer standpoint, I mean, yeah, the contracts are enticing, but look at the purses.
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at $20 million, a purse for a regular event. I mean, that just these purses, these prize pools are so big that PGA had to up their game.
Yeah, which is surprising that they got that. It forced their hand, which is great for the
Yep.
guys in the PGA. It's been a long time
Yes.
coming, I think. But
Yeah, it has, because I think there's been certainly some questions about, like, look, you can go out and try to be a professional golfer, but it doesn't mean it's always going to be lucrative for you.
right.
I think PGA now has, if you play all of their events or a certain number of their events, you get $50,000.
Wow.
But I mean, $50,000, it's something, right? It's something. I'll give it that.
Mm-hmm.
But you've got to. It's kind of like playing in the minor leagues in any other sport. You're sitting there going, like, am I going to be able to survive doing this?
Mm-hmm.
So in that respect, seeing a format like Live, where they're paying these guys to show up, is, it's a whole different ball game. But people got to understand, they're not handing out these contracts to Taylor Gooch or Huston Swafford. They're handing these contracts out to Phil Mickelson and making Greg Norman the head of it, and handing it to Dustin Johnson, Bryson DeChambeau, and like people with pull with the
Right.
name.
Yeah.
So that they get the appearance fees, folks. They're not going to come out and look, they could shoot last every tournament and still be out on top. Kevin Na is not getting a massive Live Golf deal, but having a format where there's no cuts makes things a little bit more interesting there.
Mm-hmm.
So really, and I have to agree with you, I like it from a golf perspective, if that wasn't clear already. I really, really like it. From a moral perspective, like we've said, it makes it questionable, but man, for the sport itself, it's fun. Everyone loves the Ryder Cup, and the
Yeah.
Ryder Cup style has all these different tournament formats, and you just, I mean, and the ratings reflect that, by the way. Everyone loves to watch it, and yeah, there's a certain element of like intercontinental competition, if you will, but it's still fun to see the different formats, and they're a little bit easier to get behind. You see who won this hole, who won that. It's like if you go head-to-head style and things like that. But these events still have to happen, and the biggest question is will people watch? And there's a lot of hype behind it, but the ratings and the televised events and things like that, you've got to see where they go. But again, that doesn't matter to a golf tour that is with the backers of the Saudi Arabian royal family who have a bottomless pit of money.
Yes,
they are not constricted, which is making the PGA very nervous. Or maybe it did make them very nervous because that lawsuit, like we mentioned, where Taylor Gooch, Hudson Swafford, and Matt Jones all filed for that restraining order, the judge ruled in the PGA's favor. That is very much, in my opinion, in some of people that I've talked to with legal backgrounds, they think that this is kind of, it's not certain. Nothing's really certain, but it's kind of an indicator of how this big antitrust lawsuit's going to go. That these players were not harmed. They walked away on their own because that's been the problem, right? The PGA has come out and taken a very hard line and said, look, if you're going to play in the LIV Golf Tour, you're out of here. You can file for certain things like what's it called? A conflicting event release.
Right, yeah.
Where if you want to go and play one of their events, but, still be on the tour, there's wiggle room. But for the most part, the second that they leave and bolt for that tour, they're done. You're suspended by the PGA. You're not coming back to their events. Now, a lot of people, a significant enough people to have a conversation around it at least, have said that, well, the PGA is trying to, is expressing monopolistic tendencies and saying that and basically trying to control power or consolidate its power and say that, no, we're not allowing this competition to survive, which would be kind of the basis of antitrust litigation. But there's a question here. These players left on their own. There's the LIV Tour, the LIV Golf Tour has no problem being around. They're not being pushed out of the market because the money's not a problem. So in the most basic sense of, antitrust, law, nothing's really been broken yet because LIV has not been crushed by the PGA or shut out of the market in any way because they can't.
Yeah.
LIV is spending too much money to be around, and they're taking very popular golfers away from the PGA Tour, who have all like Phil not Phil Mickelson, but I know Dustin Johnson for sure. He resigned as a PGA Tour member, so he's done. I mean, these people and the ones that aren't suspended, they're just done, and it becomes an argument for the PGA where they go, if anyone's losing anything, it's the PGA Tour, not LIV. LIV has everything to gain. How are we shutting them out of the market?
Correct.
So they may have a leg up in that lawsuit. However, this the issue is not so much about the players who left and don't want to come back. It's more about the issues about the players that want to play in both leagues. Biggest of which would be like a Phil Mickelson, who has come out and said, "Hey, what if I want to play both? Both tours. That's what I want to do." That is where it becomes a question of, okay, are they shutting him down? In a way that's going to, lose him money. There's a financial harm involved and things like that. But it still remains to be seen. It's tough to look at. It's really hard to see how the LIV Golf Tour has been harmed, but the players, their suspensions have eliminated their ability to compete in the PGA Tour, and that's, hey, they could have earned substantial prize money, but if and maybe and could, a lot of questions there to ask. But here's the big one, is that right out of my train of thought. But the big one would be this: if if they win their lawsuit, right? Or rather, they just lost a big component of it. LIV just lost a big component of it. if they win the antitrust lawsuit, the landscape of golf is going to look very different.
Mm-hmm.
But in order to win that, you have to prove that the PGA Tour is trying to shut them out of the market. So far, they've been punitive with players.
Mm-hmm.
But just to put it in the most basic terms, if the PGA Tour went to the Euro Tour and said, we would like to work together with you to crush LIV out of the market and say that anyone who plays for them is no longer welcome in our league, our two leagues. That is anti-competition. That is
Correct.
antitrust, textbook antitrust. That is one corporation working with another corporation and saying we are going to essentially price fix or we're going to shut these people out of the market so they can't compete. That's anti-competition, and that would be huge if that was the case. But proving that is going to be a very tall order, and there's no evidence at this point that they're doing that, because here's a little loophole. If, using that same example, if the PGA Tour and the Euro Tour both decide independently of each other that they want to shut out any player that goes to the LIV Golf Tour, well, that's okay. That's not anti-competitive. That is two independent organizations making independent decisions. So the the burden of proof is pretty high. Pretty high on the prosecution here.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I've kind of thought this before. I don't know that LIV is trying to win.
No, it more or less seems like they're just trying to put out a fun product to watch, something that's, again, just trying to get people to go, the Saudi Golf League, it's really fun to watch. And then, like you say, it starts to soften that image of whatever's going on.
Well, yeah, and with the lawsuit, I think it's just more publicity.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's
What
of
do
just
they care?
a drama. Yeah, just for the drama, just for the name.
These guys, exactly, yeah. Look, the three players that filed that lawsuit are doing it because they're not making any money with LIV yet, and they had a substantial amount of money left on the table in the FedEx playoffs. The reason why the judge ruled against them is because the FedEx playoffs are very much the PGA Tour's. It's an event of their own creation, and they had the opportunity to not walk away, but they did anyway. So that's essentially what the judge is saying is, that's on you. You walked away. You shouldn't have done that. If you wanted to make the money and stay in the PGA Tour, you should have done that and played by their rules at that moment. In this bigger lawsuit, it is a question of where will it go?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that for those who don't know, the Justice Department is investigating the PGA Tour for this very same thing, antitrust. So it's a little fortuitous for the LIV Tour to be suing them for the same exact thing. I think they're trying to build a case, because if they win, it's massive. It's going to be a flood of sponsors and players and TV deals, and it's just going to be insane, because essentially that lawsuit will say, the PGA was wrong to shut these players out. You can play wherever you want, and not because you're independent contractors. Essentially, you can play wherever you want, and no one can stop you. I think we're going to see an avalanche of things change.
Yeah.
It'll certainly be an interesting thing, but there's some opportunities here that I think I kind of want. See, if you ask me what I want them to lose. I want LIV to lose the lawsuit, but still be around.
Mm-hmm.
Because then I want to say at least for a year. I want to see how it goes. I want to see how these events really shake out. I want to see what kind of events they do, because it could mean more change for the PGA. The PGA has already been. They've been reacting.
Yeah, and it would be nice to eventually see a more complete product. The PGA's best self, if you will, where we're getting. I mean, shotgun starts. That'd be super fun to watch in the PGA. I mean, we always get these great. It's always fun to see these awesome sudden death playoffs, but minus that, how much more drama do we really get, right? So
not much. Not much. And see, the thing is like the PGA's never had to be, they've never had, when you have no real competition, particularly in the United States, what incentive is there for you to keep improving?
Right.
You
It's
know?
easier to be business as usual, right? Because you don't have to worry.
yeah.
You don't have to pay anybody. You don't have to think about it, right? You just
Exactly. In
same
golf,
events, same yada yada yada. Let the players, create the excitement themselves, and not us doing more to make our product more interesting.
oh, fantastic point, because that has been PGA's model since Tiger.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
at the very least.
At the very least, I was
you
gonna
could
say
ar-
there were some Jack Nicklaus.
not-
He had some good.
Yes. Oh yeah, he brought. But I'm saying, like, on a global scale.
True. Tiger, absolutely.
Tiger came in here. I mean, because I think Tiger Woods, and this is certainly a debate for another day as well. But Tiger Woods, when he came into the league, no one was prepared for that.
No.
He came in and was dominating to such a degree that the rest of the field, they were just there. They were fighting for second place, and it really didn't turn back and level out until around the 2010. I want to say is like the beginning when everything started to really turn and start to the playing field leveled up. And so he did for the PGA what the PGA has been banking on this entire time: bring in the star power, bring in that level of competition. Everyone wanted to see Tiger, which means everyone wanted to watch golf. Everyone, and the only place to watch golf was him on the tour. So they've been doing it even recently. I mean, they did it with Tiger versus Rory for a while. Then and more recently, it's been DeChambeau and Koepka, and then Dustin Johnson, and all the. I mean, the whole TaylorMade team with Johnson and Morikawa, and then just seeing all the drama around individuals, the players. They've banked on that a lot, and I've seen things where the courses have gotten a little harder, where guys come out and they're supposed to dominate, and you're sitting there going, "What the hell happened?" It's because the courses are getting harder, but in reality, nothing's really changed. But
yeah,
I mean, but with Live, that the focus can maybe be brought back in. Well, I mean, things can be brought back into focus because now they've got competition. The heart of it, the whole idea of competition is both sides, or however many sides there are, competing to have the best product that they can put out onto the market, and that people will want to buy. And in this case, want to watch. And Live is certainly pushing PGA to its brink, but again, I do in this case want PGA to win the lawsuit, because I think that it sets a precedent. Like, these players, you can do whatever you want. You're not held down by the PGA, but don't come back at the PGA for saying, "Oh, well, you're not allowed to play here. If you're going to go to our competitor," because I think Tiger said it best. The PGA made you guys. What do you?
Yeah, we've seen that from a number of Rory. A lot of those guys have kind of echoed that same thing, saying, this gave you this first platform. Now you go off to greener pastures, if you will, and then either now you're creating a distraction for the guys who purely do just want to be on the tour.
Yep.
For whatever. I mean, it's great that these guys are getting guaranteed contracts. It's hard to argue against players saying, "Hey, I just wanted to go out and make my money, and it's nice to not have to worry about these kinds of things." But then, now we get this back and forth, which is distracting.
Yeah, I love it. I love, when I say I love it, I love the contracts. I love players getting more money. I love particularly not just the top 10, but the bottom, middle to back half of players. I like them getting more money because I want them to be paid for the work that they do, and I think we all want that. But it's the top players that are getting these massive contracts where I sit there and go, really? Your words aren't matching up here. When Dustin Johnson says, "Well, I'm doing this for my family," I just can't take that as seriously when the previous year, you made $25 million And, you've made $75 million in prize money,
Yeah.
with the PGA, and that's not even counting endorsement deals
Yeah.
and things like that. So don't even come to me and say, oh, this is for my family. I mean, that's the argument you're going to bring? Really?
Yeah.
And then all these, so the top guys are the ones getting the deals. I don't see, these other players. The purses are certainly big, but I don't see them getting, these massive contracts to go play. And I think that this most recent little lawsuit that those three players lost is, I think they're seeing the writing on the wall, which is like, oh, yeah, we're not going to make as much yet. We jumped ship a little too early. And I think you have to look at the PGA as, yes, they've gotten pretty big for their britches because they've got no one in that really holds a candle to them. But they also gave these players the opportunity to compete in events and really, they gave them a spotlight, gave them a chance. And again, I don't like taking the side of a big business or corporation that has all the money and power. I don't like doing that. But in this case, it's pretty clear that the PGA, the way it's structured, has been very much set up to present talent. They do profit off of that talent, but it's not like they're sitting there, having these guys play for free. It's competing for prize money. It's a tournament.
Yes.
And that has always been, look, if Liv wants to turn that on his head, go right ahead and do that. And that's why it's so attractive to these players, because they get to show up and play. And instead of having to worry about, am I going to get cut or am I going to miss out on a chunk of money, they get to just show up and play. And that's great. But the PGA has always been a tournament style. It's never been show up and we'll hand you money.
Right.
But now, mind you, they've pivoted, so they've got a bonus structure involved now, and there's other things in the works that they're going to try to compete, and that's good. That's the competition raising the level, but that's where we are. So the question is, I don't think Liv's going away. I don't think whether they even if they lose this lawsuit again, Saudi Arabia's funding the public investment fund is behind these guys. They're going to be around for a long time, and I think the more drama that gets reported, it's to their benefit every time, because it just puts them more and more in the spotlight. But they both hold strong positions here. The PGA is pushing back, and right now they're winning legally.
Yes.
They're winning,
They
and
are.
morally they're winning. And I think you got a lot of it's kind of split, I think, in the public opinion, because I see a lot of people saying, like, who cares? I just want to see more golf. And I've seen, particularly with not sponsors, but like other like more prominent people in golf or the golfing world are saying, look, I can have Liv on one screen and PGA on another screen. Or, look, if Liv is up one day, I'm going to watch this. And if PGA is up one day, if they're separate days, I'm going to watch them each. Or watch them both. And that's kind of how I feel. Like, I want to watch more golf. But I also want to acknowledge the reality here. In that there's a reason this was created, and it's very hard to get away from. And also, there's the players that they're taking are coming out swinging against the PGA as if there's been this systemic problem with the PGA that has never been discussed before. And look, if you want to talk, I'm not saying there's no problems with the PGA. That's I'm sure there have historically been a lot, but
yeah, I mean that'll happen in a almost 100-year-old 100-year-old organization. There we go. Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's never been forced to change much. So yeah.
Yeah, and I understand that, but don't act like it's just it's all of a sudden, or rather, like I take that back. Don't act like it's always been there and you're just saying something now because you couldn't before.
Yeah, I find it very hard to believe. Yeah, I find it very hard to believe that these top earners and successful players felt like they were silenced or couldn't speak out.
Why wouldn't you?
Right.
Why wouldn't you be able to speak out?
Right.
these guys become brands in and of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They're not held down by any kind of contract.
Nope.
I mean, that the PGA has set it up that way.
Yeah.
So for them to come out and say that, like, oh, well, there have always been problems and the PGA never listens to us, it's like, I don't think that's true. I think that, yeah, I'm sure that there are players at the bottom of the rung that where they don't feel like their voices are getting heard, but that's because they don't have as much pull in the organization. That's going to happen no matter what organization you work for.
Correct.
Or work in this case with, no one should expect to come into an organization and, you're in a position that, hey, you're new here, and then to have all of this influence, unless you're coming into a position of influence right from the start. But that's not what this is. These are guys that we're not talking about, the bottom rung. We're talking about Dustin Johnson.
Correct.
We're talking about Phil Mickelson.
Bryson DeChambeau, yeah.
These guys are monstrous in terms of their golfing ability, either past, present, or future, like their potential, and they're huge brands with a lot of influence. Apparently, enough influence to bring a lot of golfers with them.
Correct.
So, I don't see this as being as big of a problem as the players that have left are making it.
No.
But I also don't see it as big of a problem as the PGA seems to think that LIV is.
Yeah.
And that now, do I understand it? Of course. It's competition.
Yes.
Why wouldn't you want to crush it?
Right.
Who doesn't want to make their competition lose? Of course they want to. But as long as they're doing it legally, I don't care.
Yeah.
If the Justice Department comes out and says, look, these guys have been colluding with the other golf leagues to shut LIV down, then yeah, then PGA needs to be reined in, and they should lose that lawsuit. But if both the lawsuit and the Department of Justice come out and say, hey, look, we didn't find any evidence of antitrust, yeah, they're going to try to crush their competition through other ways, like with their players and everything, but that's all above board, then I'm fine with it. Again, it's a complicated situation, folks, and there's no real way around that. It would be different because here's the thing, right? The major championships are not part of the PGA Tour.
Correct. Yes.
The Open, the U.S. Open, the Masters, and the one I always forget, the PGA Championship.
Yeah. I was like, I knew it was some PGA.
I always forget it. It says PGA, but those are independent. They're independent. They're invitational events. So there's no, there's no problem there. These players that play and LIV still get to be invited. Like that's, they're not. The PGA has no jurisdiction essentially. But there's another thing here in the official World Golf Rankings points. The points are handed out by an organization called Official World Golf Ranking. That is an independent organization, not affiliated with the PGA, that ranks golfers based on the points won throughout the season, the events that they play, and how many points that are scored in each of them. And that is independent. There are 6 major golf tours, that, including the PGA, the Euro Tour, the Australasia Tour, the Japan Tour, that all use these points. That again, it's independent. They don't have any jurisdiction over the rankings points. In fact, LIV just applied last month to get their events, categorized to get the rankings points as well, so that their golfers, when they play in LIV golf events, if they win those events, they get points toward their official World Golf Ranking. So they could be so when you hear someone say, well, Scotty Scheffler is the number 1 golfer in the world, well, what's that based on? The official World Golf Rankings points. That's what that's from. So PGA doesn't have any control of that. LIV is trying to say that, oh well, our golfers, are being shut out of getting those points. But that's because LIV just filed for it.
Yeah,
they just did it.
And
how?
I'm seeing now that there's starting to be some level of discussion and what's coming of it and how it might not work out for them.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know
Mhm.
that.
Because-
is there...
Yeah, there's a Golf Digest article that came out
Okay.
a couple of weeks ago.
Well, I know there's a new system coming out. There's there's a problem with their application?
Mm-hmm.
That-
Because of the way it's set up, that it might not.
Because of their different events?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the thing that their differentiator. Okay,
Mhm.
so the thing that we're saying that we love may not be. Turns out, look at that talk about on demand here. There's not going to be, or rather, there's going to be a problem with the way that Live scheduled its events, and because I knew that there was the rankings were becoming, like, their algorithm was improving, and then they were changing things. But let's see. Oh yeah, look at that. Live Golf not eligible tour as they announce the rankings changes. Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is where things get interesting, because now that they're not eligible. Thank you for that. For that information. That's huge.
Yeah,
that's
massive.
insane.
Yeah.
What does that have? So what does that do for these golfers now?
I mean, that's gonna hurt, right? If you can't be world ranked, how are you supposed to gauge? I guess it's even just a gauge of talent, right? How are you supposed to compare yourself to your competition who is ranked, right? So.
Yeah, I mean, okay. You take Cam Smith,
Mm-hmm.
who is rumored. I don't know if he's signed already, but
I
he's
haven't seen
rumored to be
anything.
It might be. Let's do some cursory research. Let's see. Yeah, it's a reported defection. Well, I mean, you got there's Yahoo Sports saying that he's leaving, but that's Cameron Young. My bad.
Okay.
But Cam Smith is reported to be leaving, and that'll be interesting. He's the second overall golfer in the official World Golf Rankings.
Yeah.
What does it do to a player like him? I mean, he's number 2 in the world now, so obviously that ranking's going down.
Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't get to play, if you don't get to play in events that gain these points, you are going to lose points and lose your standing in the rankings. So if you only play live events, you can never be the number 1 golfer in the world.
Yeah, and I don't know how big that's going to be for the, live itself, but that could be something that keeps players from even moving, because obviously it's competition. You want to be the best and you want to be ranked the best,
It's competition, right? And it doesn't do much for a player like Dustin Johnson, right?
No.
Because he's a name no matter what.
Right.
He's up there, and will he lose some standing? Yeah, maybe, but who cares? He got his contract. Same thing with Phil Mickelson and everyone we've talked about, the bigger names. But for these smaller guys that are going to get more of the guaranteed money, and we're banking on this becoming more of an official tour,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't look like that's going to happen.
No.
Now, according to these articles, they're not listed under eligible tours. Now, it's important to note that these official or World Golf Rankings, right? They're not these points they're not limited to just the tours, like I mentioned, the PGA Tour, European Tour, Asian Tour, PGA Tour of Australasia, Japan Golf Tour, and the Sunshine Tour. Those are the 6 major tours that use these points on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
And the ranking system, by the way, is endorsed by the 4 majors.
Wow.
So this is interesting. Because, but like I said, they're not the only. Those 6 aren't the only ones. There's also the Korean Tour, the PGA Tour of Canada. If you score high enough on the others, on the outside of the major, tours, then you get these points. But live, Liv is not eligible. That's what they're saying. They're saying that they're not eligible to get these points. That is massive, because if I'm a golfer that is making my way, into the spotlight here, the only reason that these guys got contracts, right, is because they were high-profile golfers.
Correct.
And it is important to be in the top 10 or number 1 golfer in the world. That means something. And that's how these guys get these endorsements. That's how these guys get this massive, they become their brands.
Yes.
So that changes the entire game. This is going to be, this is the pivotal moment for golf right now, because Liv just got handed 2 major defeats.
Yes.
In the span of a week.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, I'm interested in seeing what are the changes that they made, because they made some I know there's a performance curve, but what is majors will continue to award 100 first place ranking points, with the Players Championship awarding 80 first place points. All other tournaments will award rankings points based on the strength and depth of the fields, up to a maximum of 80 points. And but let's see, the new system previously, according to an article by Mike Hall in Golf Monthly, the official World Golf Ranking (OWGR) used a strength of field system only to determined by the players in the top 200 in each tournament. However, from this week, field ratings will be created for each tournament individually.
Wow.
So each player in a field contributes performance points, which are partially determined by that player's strokes gained world rating. So they're changing the algorithm. The world rating is calculated on a round by round over a rolling 2-year basis. So they are now fine-tuning the rankings points. So the algorithm is shrinking in terms of criteria.
Mm-hmm.
This is, and again, like I mentioned with the tournament wins, those award points, but World Tour players are going to find it harder to break into the top 50 under this new system.
Yeah.
This is pretty big.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know that. See, this changed the whole conversation from the start of this podcast. This is literally, this could kill Liv. This could be a death blow.
Yeah.
And people say, well, wait a minute. But about the money.
It's only a ranking. The guys are only there for the money, the contracts, yada yada yada. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you're look, it doesn't, the return on investment that is happening here from a Liv Golf standpoint, the return on investment has never been money. It's always been this, this mysterious how Saudi Arabia is viewed kind of thing. That's what they want, right? If the rumors are true and the reports are true, that's what this golf league exists for. Is that Saudi Arabia is trying to soften their image using the Liv Golf Tour. Well, if nobody watches because none of the golfers are ranked, they're not going to get their return on investment.
Right.
And eventually you're going to start pouring money into this. Because by the way, I totally thought Liv was going to get these points.
Crazy. Yeah.
I really thought that this would be a no-brainer, that the official golf rankings, they would okay, yeah, you're playing golf, you've got the strength field in play, yeah, go for it. Here are the points. You're competing in tournaments. It makes sense. Did not think that they would be ineligible for any points.
Hammered them with these compulsory elements that have been noted. I mean, I was like, oh, okay, it might be one or two things, but they're at least, just from what we've seen, nothing obviously guaranteed. There's 7 criterias that they can't meet. So it's not just like, oh, well, it's something they could fix overnight or over the course of a year or two. I mean, these are things that could take years to do if they're even capable of doing it, right?
So it does. I mean, they do. You're right, but they do meet some of the requirements.
Yeah.
I mean, most obviously they meet the money. Mm-hmm. The money is. It says that the rules of golf offering an average minimum purse of $30,000. Per player, they got that covered, no problem. And having a players committee, which Easy money for them, as well as tournament eligibility criteria, fulfilling various administrative things. Yeah. You got all that. And there's an opportunity to respond to the application here.
Absolutely.
But yeah, this is there's some criteria here that let's see. I mean, going through it. Let's see. And it's murky where Live Golf can be considered as an entity that promotes non-discriminatory practices, which is the very first item on the list.
Yep.
Its series might embrace the philosophy, but it's safe to say that safe to say that Saudi Arabia, the source of its funding, does not. Wow.
Yep.
Okay. This. Oh, it's so tough to separate Liv's funding from its existence.
Yeah.
Oh man. So Live Golf's relegation plan apparently is meant to remedy the third item, which the qualifying system, but it's hardly an open system when some players are exempt from the process.
Mm-hmm.
So this is, this is going to be wild. Okay, here we go. The following compulsory elements would appear to be lacking from Live Golf's application. Number 1, an embrace of inclusion and promoting non-discriminatory practices. Okay.
Yeah.
Number 2. Competitions contested over 72 holes except for developmental tours like the Abima TV Tour, the Alps Golf Tour, or the Euro Pro Tour, among others, which are permitted to be 54-hole events. Uh-oh!
Yeah.
Uh-oh! That's a huge one.
That is.
That Live stands for 54.
That's their thing. So, like, what are we gonna go to? I'm not even gonna try to figure out what 72 is in Roman numerals. It won't be that good.
No. Oh no! Wait a minute. Oh.
I'm sure it's not gonna sound that good.
But it's LXXII.
Yep. That doesn't roll off the tongue. That doesn't roll
here
off
we go.
the tongue. That's
Boom. Taking Hankmakers. Oh my God! On point 2, because point 1 is it's up for debate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I could argue if I'm a lawyer, I'm sitting there like I don't give a shit what Saudi Arabia, does in this case. I'm talking about Live.
Mm-hmm.
Live is an entity in and of itself. What
Correct.
are we talking about the country for? You could have that argument, right? As all I'm saying is you can have the argument. This point though, their whole entire system is built around 54 holes.
Is correct.
And they're but now I'm looking at it, sitting there going, well, why do these other 4 tours get to have it? So I would be interested in looking into into that kind of a situation. Like,
yeah.
Why do these other tours get to have 54, but why do we not?
It's stating that this is a developmental tour, so.
Oh, good point.
Yeah.
Good point. Oh, that's right.
So this is like a G League or a minor league, so this is whatever.
Well, there you go. That's the answer. So they need to have 72 holes, not 54.
Yep.
Wow.
Because this is not a developmental
Wow.
tour. This is a pro
It's a
tour.
professional tour.
Yeah.
An open annual qualifying school held before the start of each season. Okay. An open annual qualifying school. I mean, yeah, open annual qualifiers kind of important there, but it's there. A field size on average of 75 players over the course of a season. That's another one. They only have 48 players.
Correct.
So
they're going to need to get another 24
Folks,
players. Yeah.
This is wild. 48 players, which that's their whole appeal. Smaller fields, more action, and 54 holes. Only 3 rounds of tournament play, and whatever. That's the whole appeal.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're sitting here going, 2 points are non-negotiable at this point. A 36-hole cut. Live doesn't have cuts.
They don't. That's part of their thing. That was supposed to be. Yeah. So a lot of these things are the backbone of what this tournament and what this organization is supposed to be.
Did someone just go on Liv's website and just go, all right, we're gonna kick these guys in the balls,
Dude?
Let's
seems
take
like
everything, every differentiating factor. Which, by the way, for anyone in the history of products or services, you need a differentiating factor against your competition, right? That's the thing. That's the thing you want. They took every single one off, pretty much right off of Liv's website and said, ineligible.
Yeah.
And now Liv could pivot. They could pivot, but none of it's really going to make sense.
Yeah, it's going to
So
take a lot of backtracking and a lot of head scratching, and you know, people are going to probably be like, "Oh, well, this is funky now. This seems kind of weird." So there's some risks involved.
There are risks involved. They have to change their whole format. And we're only on 0.5, by the way. Number 6, a clear opportunity to progress to a full member tour. That is to one of the 6 members of the International Federation of PGA Tours. Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's going to be tough.
They need to be one of the 6 members of the International Federation that make up the rankings. So, oh boy.
Which comes with its own set of hurdles.
That could be done though.
Yeah,
that could be done.
Absolutely.
Clear opportunity to progress because Liv could be, hey, I can't imagine that, the tours of Australasia and Japan are, much bigger than Liv at this point.
Yeah.
So, and then reasonable access for local and regional players at each of its tournaments.
Yeah.
It could be.
Could be. It's not terrible.
Let's see. Liv Golf does not meet the requirement of a 10-event minimum schedule. That's additional.
Right.
Because what was their thing? 8 events.
Right.
They literally, think about this. They have 6 main points on their website, Liv does. And this is just pulled directly from livgolf.com/format. 48 players, 54 holes, 8 events, and no cuts. All 4 of those are against the rules for official golf rankings. And here's where this gets tricky. Because this is new.
Yeah.
This is new. These are, okay. Oh, it's current rules and governance. Oh, it's not new, but the failing of the application is new.
Mm-hmm.
This is insane. And apparently it's already shifting. Liv is already shifting. They're turning away top 50 players as it shifts business model to league format for next year.
Wow.
Look at that. Look at that, folks. They're already trying to, keep going. And because right now, as of right now, they don't have a standing. And I cannot express this enough, if these golfers aren't able to get rankings points, no one is going to watch.
No.
No one is going to watch beyond the first year, or maybe 2 if you want to be generous.
Yeah.
But no one is going to watch because when you don't have stakes for anything, you're just watching exhibition matches.
Mm-hmm.
And if anyone will tell you anything about preseason sports, no one gives a damn.
No.
Unless you're affiliated with the sports in some kind of way or you've got some kind of skin in the game, you're not going to sit there and watch. Whether it be preseason football, baseball, basketball, hockey. Yeah. Are you going to go watch golfers play 18 on your local golf course? No, of course not. You're not going to do that. Even if the pros are there, who cares? There's no stakes involved. And when there's no stakes involved, there's no competition really.
Correct.
Doesn't matter what money's up at play here. It kills them. It kills them if they don't get these ranking points. And they know that. That's why they're already pivoting. So this is going to be interesting. I don't know. I don't know how far they can change things without destroying the entire system.
Yeah, without infringing on their original product. Yeah.
Well,
because if they had to do a full rebrand of just a year in, right? That people don't want to go through that. Nobody's gonna. That kills your interest.
Yep, but it looks like things are about to get a lot more uniform for them next year with the Liv officials announcing on Wednesday that the transition to a 14-event league schedule is
Oh, boy.
happen. With the same 48 guys teeing up in them all, representing the same 12 4-man teams.
Mm-hmm.
But that's only one piece of the pie.
Yeah, I mean, guys are signing up with the assumption that there's no cuts and that they're getting guaranteed pay regardless. So that bitters
Great
that.
point. Oh, I hadn't even thought about the players yet.
That is a bitter, bitter thing, you know, especially for these guys who sign up knowing that they're not going to be in a top 10, top 5 contention. So they're assuming, you know, that I'm getting whatever X amount, whatever, you know, player 48 is getting, right? So
well, you've got it. Exactly. Let's say they keep the 48 players thing. That's their whole idea.
Mm-hmm.
So 48 players. So they have their model. They are not going to be able to get these players away from the other tours if the only way they're going to get ones if they're going to get the big names. And the big names aren't going to be they'll be big, sure, but they won't be progressing.
Yeah.
They'll have to be trading on their name, and you got to coast and ride that out.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not going to get the middle and bottom players anymore. You're not going to get the middle of the field to come over if they're not going to be able to advance.
Right.
Their careers will stay where they're at.
Right.
Even if you win, all right, Kevin Na. I'm going to use that as an example because he went over. Kevin Na wins every live tournament for the end of time. Wins it, every single one. No rankings points.
Right. He does walk away with
progression.
$225 million or whatever the entire season purse is.
Sure, he walks away with the person who's got the money, but he's got nothing. But I'm saying that's the best case scenario for a golfer.
Best case.
That is the best case where you walk away with all the money. And in that case, I'll do it all day. But that's a big if.
Yeah.
And I can tell you what, given who's already in that tour, Kevin Na's not going to consistently beat Dustin Johnson, DeChambeau, Koepka, all these guys that went over, Cam Smith if he goes over.
Yeah.
They're not going to consistently get the wins. There is competition there.
Yeah.
But now you're not growing your brand, and you're not growing in the rankings, and more importantly, there's no way back.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no way back. If this antitrust lawsuit goes the way that it looks like it's going to go, which is there's no anti-competition because LIV is fine. If that's the way it goes, there is no way back. These leagues are going to cut these players out.
Yeah.
And then you better be damn sure you're going to win all these events, and you better be damn sure that this league's going to exist in 5 years.
Yeah.
Because right now they are pivoting hard. And I don't know that I don't think, unless LIV completely flips a dime and adheres to all of these things. I mean, we're talking about sizable changes.
Yes.
They need a field size of 75 players over the course of a season.
Mm-hmm.
Well, 48 players are in a tournament, so they better have. I mean, I don't see. Here's the thing. That's a little vague. I don't know if the field size is 75 per tournament or 75 different players over the season. If that's the case, they can get it.
Yeah.
But it's also a little pointless. A 36-hole cut. They don't do cuts, and they they still have to play 72 holes, so they have to upgrade by 18 holes.
Yep.
And they have to do a cut. What?
That's a huge part of their business model. That's what they.
That's two right there. That's their whole. Some of their appeal, not all of their appeal, but some of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then just the competition. Yeah, so they've got to upgrade. They've got to do these things. There's a lot to change here. This is huge.
Yeah.
This is very, very big, and I'm not certain. I mean, it looks like they're going to go through with it. They're going for it. I have no doubt that they will. I'm seeing things here that say, "Oh, when are they going to turn a profit?" Irrelevant.
Yeah.
These guys do not care about profit.
Nope.
The return on investment is Saudi Arabia being looked upon favorably in the world, which, given the state of social media, is possible.
Mm-hmm.
So, But if they're not able to continue to get these top golfers over and have the level of competition that they're expecting and have rankings points that actually mean something to make them an official tour, they're not going to win this.
No.
They're going to be relegated to a minor league situation.
Yeah, with just a lot of big names, which is crazy. Crazy to think that that could be something that happens.
Yep. Well, I'm certainly interested in seeing how it all plays out. But that is our time for the day, and we'll certainly we might have to revisit this one on another day, depending.
I'm sure we will.
Well, I mean, yeah, once that antitrust lawsuit comes out, which may be soon. I know these things want to get moving quickly, so we'll see that we'll keep the the eye and the pulse, hand on the pulse on that one. But we hope you'll join us next Friday for the next episode, which is the NIL, name, image, and likeness in college sports, as well as our top 25 rankings for the preseason in college football, which we are so pumped about.
Cannot wait.
It is going to be a fun time. But until then, cheers, sports fans. Have a great night.